Hi everybody, welcome to the Steckline Report. Well, I got to tell you friends, if they're not doing it to us in Washington, we're doing it to ourselves when it comes to really whacking prices on the farm. If you want to know what I'm talking about, just stay tuned. I want to talk about it in just about 30 seconds.
I first got started in the cattle business. My wife and my father-in-law got me into it. I love dealing with the animals and being in the outdoors. At American Ag Credit, I know a lot of them are in the same business that I am. Therefore they understand what I need and what problems I'm against, so they can work with you on it, and it makes it much easier.
It's been passed down to me through the generations, and I want to pass it on down to the next generation or two.
Well, let's start, friends, by talking about what they're doing to us in Washington. You know, the American Farm Bureau meeting recently, Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack was the guest speaker, and he talked about a lot of things. And one of the things that I couldn't figure out what he was talking about was capital gains tax, and also the fact that you sell your land now to a farmer, you pay taxes. If you wait till you die and pass it on to your relatives, you don't. Now that's a situation that's been a pretty good deal for a lot of businesses, not just farmers, over the years. And especially it is for farmers because it's a cash-intensive business on the farm. And quite honestly, a lot of people over the years didn't have a lot of cash to spend on goodies. And so they put it in farmland, and this is what they leave for their family when they're gone. And it's been pretty nice because the family would then get this land with a stepped-up basis and not have to pay any tax on it. This administration wants to change that. Ag Secretary Vilsack, speaking at that meeting, I couldn't tell for sure what he was talking about. He's saying that, I guess, the president's idea of getting rid of that issue would be to help sell now to other farmers. But I don't know how you're going to do that when I can see already that in the plan that the president wants to come forward with tax-wise is raising capital gains tax from 20 to 28%. Dividend tax the same way. But it would close a loophole, supposedly, that allows Americans to avoid capital gains through a stepped-up basis when you pass on. Supposedly only wealthy people get that chance. Boy, sometimes we need to send somebody back to Washington to explain to them the definition of wealthy. I think they've got it out of whack. Trade talk at the Farm Bureau meeting also centered on the president getting fast track. He wants it badly. About every president has. Supposedly they can get a lot more done. Right now there's negotiations going on that Trade Promotion Authority would probably help get done. It would be fine if the presidents understood what was needed to be in our trade issues across this world of ours. Right now, some of the problems that we have are people like Japan who don't want to increase their trade with us at all. Well, we had a few reports out this last week or two that are kind of interesting. USDA lowered corn ending stocks by 121 million bushels, but in soybeans were left pretty much about where they were, and no real surprises in that supply-demand report there, except one thing for me, and it really hasn't helped out the market much, and that is the winter wheat plantings report. That this is the first one we've seen, and the USDA says that all winter wheat is going to amount to about 40.5 million acres. Last year, it was almost 42.5 million. We're down a bunch. Hard red from 29.5 is what they say we're planting this year, 29.5 million acres. We were 30.5 practically a year ago, so 1 million acres less. And ever since this report came out, the grain market's gone down. One of the biggest reasons for that, folks, is the dollar. The dollar has been unbelievably strong. And with that comes higher prices for our neighbors to buy our products, whether it's grain or whether it's cars. And so consequently that has had a very negative effect. Cattle on feed report out as well. It showed, oh by the way, a bunch of traders on the Merc thought it was going to be a bearish report, I guess, down the limit the day that this report came out in the afternoon, and here's what it was. Cattle on feed were about 60,000 head above a year ago. Almost nothing, less than 1%. Cattle placements down 100,000. Placements down 100,000, and it looks like marketings were down 70,000 too. We don't like that figure. That was a little bearish, but quite honestly, it was not a bearish report at all. We'll see how that all turns out in the future. We'll talk more about it then. See ya on the next Steckline Report.